Greetings sailors and welcome back to World of Warships and HMS Defence, which I did promise to look at, so here we are. It's basically a mini Nelson, except kind of not really. It looks like a mini Nelson, and it does in fact have battleship caliber guns. They're the same 14-inch guns that you find on the KGV and the Prince of Wales, but it does not come with the downsides you would expect for having such big guns and being such a large cruiser. Because not only does it have 10.1 kilometers concealment, which is actually even better than Goliath, it also has a short burst smoke as well. So it's a large sneaky cruiser, and I don't know if we've had that exact combination before. That the closest I can think of is the Italians with their fuel smoke, their ability to be very sneaky at times. But of course, this having the short burst smoke, you're not going to be able to sit and use it for very long. It's still a very good reload for having those big guns. That's actually almost an absurdly good reload for having those big guns. But there are lots of cruisers that are going to outshoot you, and of course, them being big guns, it means you're not even like just the fact that it's short duration smoke is already a downside. But then, of course, you get the debuff from firing those very big guns in the smoke, so you're not really going to be able to use the smoke for doing damage, but it will be useful for making sneaky getaways from time to time. In fact, I almost wish there was a cruiser equivalent of the brisk skill, or whatever it's called, that you get for both battleships and destroyers, where you go faster when you're unspotted. For some cruisers that would actually be very, very useful. Now this is Andrew Cunningham, and I may get the benefit of Witherer, maybe, if I land enough high explosive shells. 4 floods is unlikely to happen though. You don't have torpedoes. And I think 2 kills gets you an extra consumable, which when one of those consumables is a heal is actually especially useful. Now there's other things I don't know yet about the characteristics, but that we'll figure out along the way. But yeah, it does look like it is kind of an interesting ship, and for most people this is probably as far as you're going to get, unless you A, have a massive stockpile of like research points or coal, or B, you have done a dirty thing and whaled like I have. And I will say, outside of Kitakami and Wargaming putting it in as this very obvious whale bait, the overall quality of the Christmas events this year have been pretty good in Warships. You've not only had these 3 ships, we've had Scharnhorst 43, all of which you probably won't have had to pay anything for, including, you may have gotten a ship or 2 out of any of the gift containers that you might have actually been able to grind out, either through that event there or, of course, the Holidays in Santa City tickets. There's also, if you paid some doubloons to unlock premium track, the Stored 43, which I don't know if that, like I said, but I've said previously, I don't know if that's going to be a particularly big draw for a lot of people. To be honest, I only bought the track so I could get more of the festive certificates, and this was before I went on my massive spending spree, so I wasn't originally planning to do that, but then I did. So but yeah, and it's just been, I think, overall pretty good compared to World of Tanks, where they did just do a giveaway of a not very good tier 9, and I don't think it even makes premium credits or anything. I think it's just a tier 9 medium tank, and not a very good one from what I understand. So we've kind of had it good here in World of Warships compared to World of Tanks. And as for War Thunder, I don't even know. The latest drama on the War Thunder Reddit seems to be about Abrams armour, or lack thereof, and there's something to do with jets and BR compression, and well, I mean, BR compression's been a long-running bugbear of many people about War Thunder for a very long time now. Anyway, so enough blethering, let's hit the battle button and see what we get. Right, this is quite a battleship heavy match. And although this does have probably the best armour of any British cruiser, it's still got a 25mm bow and stern, and the belt armour is somewhere around a tier 5 or tier 6 battleship level. So I don't think you're going to be relying on the armour too much. I think you're more going to be relying on the stealth, which, like I said, is actually really very good. You could potentially also, you do have a decent spread of, well, I say decent, I don't know, are the British secondaries considered to be that good? I don't think they are really. One of the disappointments was they added, when they reworked a few of the cruiser skills, was it 1 or 2 patches ago? I can't remember. But basically, there's now 2 separate skills. One that it adds or reduces reload time, along with increasing torpedo damage, which is, generally speaking, way more useful for increasing your torpedo damage than decreasing your secondaries reload. And then there's another one that at tier 4, which adds range, but does not add any accuracy buffs. So there is still not really any point into specking for cruiser secondaries. Like even in very niche cases, like the not Venezia, the other one. But yeah, the one with the SAP secondaries, or like Mainz, for instance, you can basically give a cruiser battleship secondary range, but there's just no point to it because you do not get that improved accuracy. The only slight buff you can get to your accuracy is from signals. So until they give some equivalent of the current manual secondary skill for battleships, there really isn't a point to doing extra, like putting the points in and putting the equipment on your ship to actually to get the buffs, because it doesn't really do anything. It really doesn't. Anyway, yeah, that is poison. That's a curve first. And they're turning, which is very mean of them. We're starting with the HE. The HE, is that even a better chance than... I have a feeling that the KGV high explosive chance isn't even quite that high. Although it might only be a little bit lower. But I mean, it is absurdly high for being 14-inch caliber. And of course you get to the bigger British battleship guns, aside from the 15-inch ones. Like the 16 inches and the 18 inches, and some of them get really quite absurd. Right, the sub is actually maybe just close enough to drop on, I'm not sure. But I don't want to entirely neglect the AP, it's just these are like angled battleships we're looking at right now. And I don't want them to look at me, so I might break line of sight with the smoke. So that's someone going pew-pew in my direction. And if I had to guess, probably the Smolensk. Although it could be the Brisbane, actually.
Smoke screen set.
Could be either of them. So unless there is a destroyer that's much closer. Oh yes, they are now close enough. Okay. May try some AP against that curve first, see how we do. I'm not holding out any great hope for non-derpy battles, to be honest. I mean, it's the holidays after all. Lord knows in World of Tanks it's been nothing but derpiness. Which is not been helped by them basically giving everyone a free tier 9. Yeah, tier 9 matchmaking is kind of just bananas at the moment. Because everyone's queuing up in their pattern tank. It doesn't even tell you which pattern it is, it's just the pattern tank. Yeah, okay. I haven't even compared the stats, to be honest. But I kind of logged in, looked at it, and then was like, I don't know if I really want to play this. Don't know if I really want to risk going into tier 9 when it's going to be, yeah, nothing but other tier 9s. But I might try and give it a go. I don't know if it really is that bad. So, yeah, this just seems to have like the only downside of this really seems to be that it's only 6 guns. But even then, only 6 guns. They're big guns, and you've got an 18-second reload. It's kind of nuts. I think that is 18 seconds with me putting the equipment on, or did I? I didn't even check what equipment I put on, actually. I'll double check that after this battle, because that might be 18 seconds with me taking a hit to my turret traverse, or I might have taken the extra range, I'm not sure. Right, that sub is probably the one that capped, actually. And if the Brisbane is still there, then it must have been the Smolensk that was pew-pewing at me. I wonder if I can outspot the Smolensk. Probably. And I may even be better off having high explosive against the Smolensk. 89 mil a pen. 43% fire chance. I mean, come on. Oh wait, we have torpedoes. How did I not notice we have torpedoes? Okay, so ignore the part where I said I'm not going to get any benefit of having torpedoes, you know, getting floods, because no way, I do have torpedoes! I'm such a noob that I didn't even notice that. So some bow below waterline launchers apparently, and they're pretty respectable. Anyway, who has spotted me? I'm going to guess it's a sub on the surface. Maybe? It could be their destroyer, you know, they do have an Akizuki. Let's get a Hydra going. I'm being a bit targeted right now. But, you know, we need a cap. We do absolutely need a cap. It's not like you can even say it's got bad maneuverability, to be honest. This has just got a bit of everything. Right, that actually got me unspotted for a brief moment. Man, that Brisbane is kind of annoying. Or is it the Smolensk? It could be either. They divided. Division is what I was trying to say there. And it did not work. My brain did not do the words that I wanted my brain to do. By far right now will I get spotted? No, so that actually does give me some information that whoever's been spotting me is not close enough. Right, half the team is dead already, including our CV somehow, so yeah, this is full holiday derp. Full holiday weekend derp. See if we can get a fire going on that Preußen. Constellation. Oh, I forget Constellation broadside with my AP shells. Oh, that could be so tasty. Although we only need to lose like 1 more ship, 2 more ships, and we're basically screwed. Wow. Okay, this is not proving to be a particularly competitive game, is it? So I do have another heal back, but we'll hang on to that. Wow, this is almost like playing World of Tanks. It's the most insulting, worst thing I can say about this match. It's almost as bad as playing World of Tanks. And at least in World of Tanks, when matches this bad, you tend to at least have everything be over in the first, like, 4 minutes. Whereas World of Warships, it takes a little bit longer. Nice. Good chunky hit. Yeah, Smolensk smoke. I see you. I'm assuming that is Smolensk smoke. Oh, no, it's Constellation. Does have his own torpedo, so I do have to be wary of those. Come on, chunky hits. No, he's angling. Right. Some torpedoes out. Do have Hydra about. Nice. Slightly better. Right, I'm actually doing okay with the armour and all, but yeah. It'd be nice if I could kill this constellation. Hydro. Oh! Don't particularly want to get in a close range fight against the Preußen, but I mean, this is just, at this point, it's just how do you want to go down swinging, really, isn't it? There's no way we're coming back from this absolute mess of a game. Right, he's down. Heel's about to come back. We have a turret damaged. Might as well stick with HE, to be honest. And here come the hairy planes. Yes, hello Brisbane. Okay, well, never mind. Nearly 100k damage. But yeah, I don't know what to say about this one. I don't feel like this team was ever seriously in contention, but hey, it happens that way sometimes. Okay, well that was an unsurprising end to that one. No last minute comebacks, shockingly. Yeah, let's see how we did. 7.5, 26k. Yeah, I feel like the guns on this are really quite something. Anyway, I was going to check the loadout, wasn't I? Because that actually might be quite useful. So yes, I took the range over the reload, so the 18 seconds could actually be made even better at the cost of dropping some of your range. And I don't know what else you would really want to take other than aiming systems, to be honest. So it's not like it's got a bad turret traverse, 36 seconds. Slow for a cruiser, but for a battleship turret, essentially, yeah, that's pretty okay. So yeah, I mean, one might even drop the concealment system and take something like the consumables modification, or maybe even steering gears mod 2. Now, the maneuverability is already pretty decent, but if you could shave that down to like 6 seconds or something, then it would feel positively sprightly for a ship this size. Or hell, maybe one of the many torpedo lookout systems that I have, which I seem to basically never use on anything because it's the same slot as this, basically. I don't know, let's do it for funsies. Let's actually experiment and try that. 11.3, that's still pretty respectable. So let's try that. Let's give it a go. So a slightly more balanced lineup this time in terms of it not being quite so many battleships. Still only 3 cruisers, but we now have more destroyers and a submarine again, and a carrier again. But hey, playing top tiers, it's kind of hard to avoid these things. I've got to feel a little bit sorry for the few tier 8s that got wedged in here. The Yumihari especially is not a durable ship, so they're going to have to be very circumspect about how they do things. So yeah, we have a bit less of concealment advantage now, but 11.3 is still very respectable. I did also seriously think about taking the consumable length buff as well, because that's going to of course mean that your repair party runs a bit longer, your smoke runs a bit longer, and you get a bit more hydro time. So, you know, that's also a very viable pick. It's just the way they've done things. Like, stealth is such an important part of this game, with the way the game works mechanically, that it tends to override anything else that any other consideration that you might have. So for captain skills, it's kind of almost like the thing that you have to have. and that's fine because you can take other captain skills alongside it. But when it's a you know, choosing a single thing to go in a equipment slot out of multiple options, it means the other multiple options don't tend to get a look in. So yeah, I do think that's a little bit of a flaw with how they've done things. Maybe they'll revisit that someday, make it so that you don't feel like you have to have that concealment module, or else the concealment is calculated some different way. I don't know. Anyway, they're kind of a victim of their own game design there. They've made that by far the most desirable thing to have in there, and it means that any other interesting options they might have had kind of go out the window that share that same slot. Anyhow, what was I talking about? I don't know. I sort of went off on a tangent there. I know people are shooting at me, and I'm not sure I appreciate that very much. Oh, those actually bounced. That was quite nice. That was Ori AP. I could use a smoke temporarily, and have the benefit of that.
Smoke screen set.
It's not going to be a very long benefit, but yeah. Oh dear. Okay, that sneeze snuck up on me. I don't know where that came from. Right, fire going on the Bismarck. Torpedoes incoming. Honestly, I can't remember how that piece of equipment stacks with Hydro. If it effectively extends the torpedo spotting range of a Hydro, but I guess we'll see if we're spotting torpedoes from further away. The AA doesn't appear to be anything particularly amazing, but there's not that many cruisers that do have super duper scary AA. We've got one plane out of that drop. I think it's mostly the Halland that was doing the heavy lifting there. Unsurprisingly, with its defensive. Right, we don't have that many ships here, but we do seem to be comfortably controlling the cap. It's just I have to resist the urge to charge forwards right now because just because we have the cap doesn't mean they don't have a whole bunch of ships here. It's just the whole bunch of ships that they have are keeping their distance for the time being. Right, I'm just using this smoke to maneuver essentially. And I'll get spotted as I come out of it, but I do have a bit of time whilst the battleships are reloading their guns. And get my turrets around. Do some work on the other side. Also, hello Marty, yes I see you. I'm going to have to be careful of the transom stern, which is a feature on some British ships. They have a flat butt! And then things like to penetrate the flat butt. And that can be a bit of a problem for you if you're not prepared for it. Yes. Anyway, insert Jingle's dirty laugh here, I suppose. I guess we'll go for the Petro, that's probably the closest thing that is most worrisome to our destroyers. Now, our HE doesn't much care about their angling. The extra reload, it's one of those eternal arguments, like there are some, especially cruisers, where people prefer the extra reload over the extra range. Personally, I always prefer the extra oh wow, that was a Citadel. I always prefer the extra bit of reaction time. I was so fixated, I don't know if that came from the Lauria or the Bismarck. But yeah, that hurt a bit. That did hurt a bit.
Problem solved, sir. Smoke screen set.
Right, I want as much distance as I can get right now. Also to get a heal going. What's the Slava doing? I don't feel particularly confident about us keeping this cap for any particular length of time, to be honest. They've got a lot of ships down there that we haven't done that much damage to. The Bismarck's the most damage. The Petro's taken a bit of damage. I really don't know how our 2501 has gotten within spitting distance of the Malta, but have fun with their auto defences, I suppose. Also, Napoli, that's the one I was trying to remember before when I was talking about cruiser secondaries. Right, so that is probably the Petro capping. I'm not entirely sure. We do not have... I don't know, it's 5 versus 3 over here, plus the carriers giving their attention, and somehow we do not have this cap, which is a bit disappointing. Because we absolutely do not have control of this side. I cannot heal too much more. This is definitely not a super heal. And when you're in a relatively squishy cruiser, obviously that can be a bit of a problem. So it's lacking that survivability element that the other British cruisers do have, unfortunately. We also have the element of the slightly awkward turret setup being a bit of an issue as well. And I cannot fire directly behind me. Right, that was yet another only AA gun knocked out. Oh well. So that's all my health gone. Alas. There's only one heal left. If I can get 2 kills somehow, if I can survive that long, I may be able to get another heal. But I guess I'm not going to hold out hope for that. Let's slow down so I can use the smoke. Because that's what I'm reduced to right now, is doing this. Right, our destroyers are actually doing their very best, although we are about to lose the... We are about to lose the lightning, I think. Yeah, there it goes. Good news is we're finally capping D. I don't seem to be able to pen with my HE or get anything other than non-pens on this Lauria, which is slightly awkward. There we go. Right, I guess I can just try some random torpedo drops. Probably not going to do much, but who knows. I sort of can't afford to fire in the open now. It's a bit awkward. A little bit awkward. This configuration of ship. I mean, we kind of saw it in the last game. It's much better for pushing than running away and retreating. Doing that sort of kiting dodging of incoming fire, which the tier 7 that we got, the Ferruccio, was actually very, very good at. Even if its overall firepower was rather less impressive than this has. But hey, you know, this has to have some downsides. If it was all upsides, that would be, dare I say, maybe even a little overpowered. Right, that fire may or may not stick. Oh dear, the Slava just went down. As did the Lauria. Nice. Okay. So we just keep running. The Halland's in a position to just keep dropping torpedoes towards them. Yeah, the Lauria was by far the biggest threat, as long as I don't get caught broadside to the Petro or anybody. Oh, actually no, the Bismarck's still alive, aren't they? Okay. Let me slow down to use the smoke again here and see if we can toast up that Bismarck.
Smoke generator activated.
Oh, the gearing's there as well, okay. Allied carriers going to get spotted if they're not careful. They're not taking a very circumspect route there. Right, are you going to burn? Please burn.
We sank their battleship.
There's blind incoming flight. Ooh, that could have been a bit hairy. A little bit. Right, we've got to be careful about the gearing doing spotting, actually. I remember it's 11.3 now, it's not 10.1 anymore. That smoke cooldown is pretty quick, at least. Yeah. The Highlander's about to go. Right, this has been quite a close game, actually. I'm sort of hanging on by my fingernails slightly. We are getting the BCAP. I suspect we might see some down the channel action quite soon. I could risk it to reset the Petro. Man, this game's been all about the innuendo, flat butts and hot channel action. Yeah, look at that that lovely cleft right there. Ooh, that moist cleft. God, what have I become? Anyway, ooh, I think we can outrun this torpedo. I think we can. Ugh, it's just filth. It's just pure filth here, apparently, right now, in my brain. I mean, when is it not pure filth, I guess? Right, I think I'm going to have to use this last smoke to make a getaway. Because otherwise I'm not going to live. And I don't want to give the enemy team points. We did at least get a couple of reset flags out of all that. Can I outrun the Henri? I don't know, but I guess we'll see. We do have a points lead right now, which is nice. But it's not like we have that many more ships than they do. Nice, there goes the gearing. See, here's where the little bit of extra stealth would have been useful. Maybe I should take the... maybe I should remount that rather than... have the extra torpedo spotting, which, given that you've got a hydro, like, is it that much more useful than that? I don't know. I think if he's speed boosting, he's going to catch up on me. I mean, the speed of this is fine, but... Okay, so he just got to die. Okay, he rammed the Petro and lived. That's fine. I'm about to get spotted by the Henri, but I've led them on a merry chase away from the cap, so that's okay. There's me spotted. We know where the sub is. At this angle, it can survive. Like, oh, they're doing reload boosted, but if I can get an AP salvo, will it maybe do something? No broadside like that. Nah, if I switched the AP previously, but then I didn't know they were going to give me a broadside like that, so that would have been potentially very nice. Oh dear, there goes the Yumahari, so okay. It's not one yet, there's still a submarine. And the Napoli managed to get the Yumahari. But the fact that we have a CV still in play and they don't, I think is probably severely in our favour. Still, it's not that far apart on points. So sometimes if it looks like it's going to be a blowout one way or the other, I don't bother sticking around to watch the rest of a match if I'm just playing by myself, or if I'm recording, I just like tab out for a second or two. But in this case, this is tight. This is real tight. I stayed alive as long as I could, but the Henri was always going to run me down. Venezia's going for it, it looks like. Man, if I'd had the AP, if I'd been able to predict what the Henri was going to do, I could have smacked them hard, potentially. But I don't think they're going to last too much longer anyway. Yeah, sometimes the most you can do is be an annoyance and try and take people away from useful areas of the map. Stay alive as long as possible. Right, just don't eat Napoli torpedoes, De Grosso. Why are you firing high explosive? I don't know. That is certainly a question that I'm asking myself. However, with the Napoli not being super high health, I guess it doesn't matter that much. Just don't eat torpedoes. Okay. How's the Venezia getting on? Oh, I forget you can't do it that way. This isn't World of Tanks where you can control click and it actually will take you. You can tell that that's the thing I've been playing. Okay. I can't actually remember if Venezia has got... Oh dear. Venezia's got... Yeah, this is one of the things they want to address with subs, is this kind of shotgunning, where there is very little you can do about it if you're having to charge into a submarine. And the fact that they've just utterly overloaded the damage control party. So they're going to address that somehow. Right, apparently Venezia has only got depth charges that it drops from... Yeah, it doesn't actually get the plane call in. I wonder if that was one of the things they were going to change as well. I do remember reading some of the planes that currently... some of the ships that currently have dropped depth charges will get the airdropped ones. Anyway, 100k again, and I will take it. That's not bad XP. I should give that Venezia a compliment. Yeah, I will take it. That was an okay game. Not the most interesting game it could be, but I got smacked so hard early on, and that was partly my fault for not paying attention to where I was in relation to battleships. And you really can't do that when you're playing, well, any kind of ship, really. So, yeah, that was a bit on me. So yeah, those guns are nice. I do like it. It still has the downside that it's a tier 10 cruiser. Just a tier 10 generally. It's not my favourite tier, but yeah, it's an interesting addition. And just the fact that it is a big gunned cruiser automatically makes me like it a bit more than regular heavy cruisers like, say, Goliath or Zhao or whatever. Whereas if you give me something like Siegfried or Aegir or the Japanese ones, or Congress and Alaska, and the ones with the big guns. I like my big guns big, apparently, when it comes to cruisers. Even when I'm not playing battleships, I like to pretend I'm a battleship. So yeah, this definitely fits into that kind of oeuvre. So that is it for this first look at the defence, and like I said, I think we've done pretty well as Warships players this year, aside from the ugliness of the whale bait that is Kitakami. But yeah, it's just a pity that mars what has otherwise been a fairly generous package of ships from Wargaming. So that is it for this video. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, and if you have, you can do all the usual things down underneath it, and of course, as always, stay tuned for more.